Hello, my name is Egla Mason, and today I have chosen to discuss the Hispanic, Latino, at-risk population for our final presentation. So let's begin with some background information over this particular group. The term Latino or Hispanic refers to a diverse ethnic group that includes any individual of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, South and Central American, or any other country of Spanish culture or origin, regardless of their racial background. The original Latin phrase for Hispanic means pertaining to Spain, and as a result, it is generally used to refer to language, culture, and those who have ancestry in countries once controlled by Spain. The term Latino, on the other hand, refers to geography. Specifically, the term is referring to Latin America and people from the Caribbean islands, South America, and Central America. Today, the term is generally used interchangeably with many official forms of identification and certification, using both terms concurrently when referring to members of this specific group. Having expanded from a small, regionally concentrated group of fewer than 6 million in the 1960s to a widely dispersed population of more than 58.8 million Hispanics living in the United States, Hispanics are one of the fastest growing ethnic groups in the United States today. This group currently represents 18.1% of the total U.S. population. Of the 58.8 million, the various different subgroup majorities ranked as followed. Mexicans were the largest group with 62.3%, Puerto Ricans and Central Americans tied with 9.5%, Southern Americans had 6.3%, and Cubans came in last with 3.9%. According to the 2017 U.S. Census Bureau, the states of California, Texas, Florida, New York, Illinois, Arizona, New Jersey, Colorado, New Mexico, and Georgia were found to have the largest Hispanic populations. And while many states aren't listed here, it's important to note that the Hispanic population is starting to grow and migrate beyond the borders of these select regions into other states and major cities. Next, we'll take a look at the history of a few of the bigger subgroups within the United States and the current events that affect them today. Hispanics, particularly those of Mexican origin, have been a part of the southern western region of the United States for many generations. Prior to the treaty that ended the Mexican-American War, most of the southwestern region and states like California, Texas, Arizona, and Colorado originally pertained to Mexico. Another Hispanic subgroup with a long history with the United States is Puerto Rico. The island of Puerto Rico became an unincorporated territory of the U.S. after Spain seceded the island and other colonial possessions at the end of the Spanish-American War of 1898. The main driving force behind a majority of Puerto Rican migration was the Second Organic Act, or Jones Act, of 1917 that granted Puerto Ricans U.S. citizenship. Today, political turmoil, post-Civil War gang violence, poor economics, and rampant drug crimes have contributed to significant waves of immigration, many of them undocumented, from countries such as Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So why is this group currently considered at risk? Securing stable employment, especially when undocumented or lacking proper experience or certification, is extremely difficult. Even for those who were fortunate enough to have been educated and hold strong jobs in their native countries of origin, they often face difficulties when trying to pursue necessary certification and credentials here in the States. Many Hispanics are susceptible to then becoming violence of discrimination and exploitation in the workplace, and very few are versed in what their working rights are here in the States. This oftentimes leaves these individuals being forced to take up dangerous or less than desirable job positions to provide the necessary funds for themselves and their families to survive. Next, with lower income, securing affordable housing and the necessary basic essentials can be difficult. Hispanics also tend to live in large crowded households with many mouths to feed. Whereas the average income white, Black, and U.S. born Hispanic household holds about 4 people, the average low income foreign born Hispanic family has about 5. 40% of Hispanic children are living in crowded housing in which 3 or more members, at times of different generations, share a single bedroom or space. It is also significant to note that Hispanics have the highest uninsured rates of any racial or ethnic group within the United States. In 2017, the Census Bureau reported that 49% of Hispanics had private insurance coverage as compared to 75.4% of their non-Hispanic white counterparts. Restating an issue I mentioned before, many undocumented Hispanic immigrants face dangers such as being detained, deported, and separated from children and family. Migrants subject to detainment in a jail or other closed facility face risks such as lack of health care resources and services, inadequate hygiene and nutrition, and also violence. Additionally, the separation of family is a cruel and traumatic experience that can give rise to higher rates of PTSD, depression, and anxiety. In addition to the stress of migrating to a new country and trying to assimilate to the customs and cultures of a new country, Hispanics are more likely to be exposed to discrimination, poverty, unsafe neighborhoods, poor educational systems, and other factors which can in turn cause poor health and attainment of various mental health issues. So how are Hispanics viewed in society? In this CBS News poll released October 19, 2018, 70% of respondents said that the idea of being welcoming of people from different cultures was very important to them. In the same poll, 53% of respondents said that they thought immigrants made America better. However, there was a significant divide among the various age and political groups. The Public Religion Research Institute found that 76% of Democrats believed immigrants strengthen American society through talents and hard work. In contrast, 65% of Republicans believed immigrants threaten American values. Generationally, this divide can also be observed with 62% of older Americans believing immigrants are a burden, but only 32% of younger Americans believing so. With the current political atmosphere, the public opinion towards Hispanics has grown negative. This can be seen in current events such as Trump's push for building of a border, aggressive pushing for ISIS raids and deportation of undocumented Hispanic migrants, and the newest threat of revoking the DACA program that will put the lives of thousands of Hispanic immigrant children in limbo. So what kind of barriers do Hispanics face? 2017 census data shows that 29.8% of Hispanics state that they are not fluent in English. Language barriers hinder an individual's ability to find work, housing, and apply for education and necessary certifications. This disadvantage can additionally make everyday tasks, like helping children with schoolwork and grocery shopping, that much more difficult. Moreover, Hispanic health is often hindered by language and cultural barriers. For example, Hispanics are more likely to report poor communication with their health providers. Hispanics are also more frequently undertreated. Consequently, being labeled as having a mental illness or even the act of reaching out to receive counseling can be a negatively stigmatizing event for a Hispanic individual. The culture strongly perceives those with these kinds of problems as weak-minded, crazy, and generally bad to associate with. As a result, many Hispanics avoid seeking necessary treatment and services for their mental distresses. Hispanic residing in the U.S. are especially more susceptible to various different risk factors. Compared to the majority of the population, they are more likely to be underinsured, have lower socioeconomic statuses, live in unsafe neighborhoods, have lower graduation rates, have less access to medical and mental health services, and less quality education to allow them opportunities for better employment. These additional stressors, coupled with the stress of adjusting to new customs, laws, language, and culture, make Hispanics more prone to anxiety disorders and stress-related illnesses. Specific needs for the Hispanic population. One of the most important needs for the Hispanic population at this time is advocacy, legal support, and immigration programs to help educate families in the many legal procedures required in trying to become permanent resident or citizens of the United States. The next big thing would be referrals to different health, employment, housing, immigration, taxes, and financial programs for those families that need the extra assistance. Additionally, newcomers to the United States are going to need time and patience as they learn to speak a new language and attempt to assimilate to a new cultural norms, values, customs, rights, and civil responsibilities. Finally, Hispanics need equal access to education, jobs, healthcare, and housing. Resiliency factors. Resiliency factors. Latino culture is known for its strong collectivistic, family-oriented beliefs. It's also known for the importance the culture places on cooperation over competition and its value of interpersonal connectedness and respect for cultural traditions and authorities. Research states that these beliefs are one of the strongest resiliency factors that Hispanic populations possess, as the strong social support help minimize the destructive effects of distress and discrimination. These effects can be seen in research where they found that Hispanic parents that had a strong relationship with their children, supervised them closely, and had open communications with them led to more resilience in Hispanic youth from immigrant families. In addition, many traits and cultural traditions from each unique subgroup identity helps provide a combination of different psychological and physical benefits. For example, rituals are a fundamental aspect of Hispanic culture. Many Hispanic rituals reflect the spirit of maintaining a positive disposition, having a sense of determination, and spiritual beliefs that strengthen one's sense of resiliency. They foster a sense of unity in the face of challenge and adversity, and the belief and pride in having the ability to be strengthened by one's life challenge. Finally, research has provided strong evidence that being bicultural and having a positive ethnic identity provides a variety of different psychological and cognitive benefits. And lastly, my sources.